Welcome to the Chrysalis Temple, a sacred portal where the quantum meets the mystical. We awaken timelines, dissolve limits, and embody the frequency of your highest self. Welcome to the Chrysalis Temple podcast. This is your sacred space for deep cellular remembrance, alchemical transformation, and a coming back to your divine feminine power. And today we have a very special episode. I've decided that I'm going to take the Chrysalis Temple podcast to participate in the 4th edition of Podcasthon. And so for 1 week, thousands of podcasts will highlight a charity of their choice. And today I have the pleasure of really sharing about the Vedanta Canada charity. So first of all, I wanted to share on why I decided to participate in this, because honestly, really, I feel that, as podcasters, we have the ability to share our voice, our vision, our connection with people all over the world, really, to bring awareness to something higher and deeper, right? And each one of us is doing this in our own unique way. And so this has resonated with me very much, because I do believe we are here doing the work, here to be in service to the collective. And what better way to be to the collective than to really work together, right? And do this kind of work. So I think it's really, it's a beautiful initiative, and especially getting to talk about a organization that is very much close to heart to the things that I do, the topics we discuss on the podcast, everything that I do. And so it's just a wonderful way to really, for us to once again truly deeply connect with one another and support each other in this way. So the reason I picked Vedanta Canada is because it really deeply resonates with me when I looked into Vedanta. First of all, I have been on my own journey for the past month and a half, close to 2 months, studying philosophy, ancient philosophies, right? And studying Kundalini yoga. So getting into that, and this feels very close to heart. On top of that, the Vedanta philosophy is an ancient philosophy that really focuses on becoming more resilient, more peaceful, more in harmony with yourself through combining 3 things, right? Really looking at that material life, focusing on the mind and how that operates, and how then all together we can bring in more inner peace to ourselves. So really helps you to become more resilient to stress, to overwhelm, to burnout, to the kind of things that so many of us are facing in the modern world, and exactly the kind of topics that I focus on here on Chrysalis Temple podcast, right? We get into divine feminine wisdom, we get into somatic practices, embodiment practices, breath work, anything that regulates our nervous system, brings us back to this inner stability, right? And so this ancient philosophy is also based on these principles, how to bring these three things together, right? Like your material, physical life, your mind, and how to put all of that together to really truly kind of attain that higher wisdom and connect to the highest supreme consciousness. So we're talking about the physical body, right? Working with the physical body, the relationships we have in our physical world, and then working with the Atman, your soul, to once again to connect to and become part of the highest consciousness, the absolute consciousness that there is, which is Brahman, right? The absolute, like when we talk about God, when we talk about source, we are talking about that absolute supreme consciousness. And this is what Vedanta is really truly about, right? It teaches us about clarity of thinking. It teaches emotional strength. It teaches how to, stay calm when everything around you could feel like it's falling apart. And this resonates so deeply because honestly, this is what we're all missing. While this wisdom, this philosophy is ancient, it is deeply needed in our society right now. It is deeply needed for us to reconnect with our soul, to reconnect with higher consciousness in order to lead a life that is connected to spirit, that is spiritually fulfilling, because we're drifting further and further and further apart. We're becoming either too materialistic, or on the other side, what could be not that great is being too spiritual and woo-woo, right? And this kind of stuff, once again, bridges all of that together. How do you gain that inner peace that we're all looking for? That's the whole point of this incarnation that we have, is to become so stable, so clear, so strong within your own physical vessel and your emotions, that you're really truly you're not shifted from side to side when you have something going on in your life. You're not falling down deep into that emotional, right, where it's taking you out, and you're not really staying in the woo-woo. You're not being swayed from side to side. You have the ability to stay calm, to stay rooted, to stay present to what is happening. And that's so much of what Vedanta is actually teaching us. And so what I also love is the fact that, a lot of Hindu scriptures, a lot of what Vedanta is, because it's taken knowledge from the Bhagavad Gita, the Vedas, the most probably ancient text we have, right? Scriptures. While it is rooted in Hinduism and the Hindu religion, it's not about religion. Hinduism altogether is not really so much of a religion. No one's looking for you to convert, to become a Hindu, to do these things, but just to really truly read, understand the wisdom, the philosophy that is being brought forth. It's also a very deep cellular remembrance. You know how when you get the chills when you have something and it all just makes sense. So it's not a religion. It's really truly just getting to understand yourself deeper, right? It's understanding your mind and the way it works and the way it sometimes tricks you, and understanding your conscious and your subconscious and your unconscious, right? And really truly learning how to once again stay in this balance, in this peace within yourself. Create that from within. And that is so, so important. And so much of what is talked about here is once again creating a reality from within, like your outer reality. It all starts from within. And this philosophy really helps you to understand that, to first of all understand yourself, to then understand what your soul is like on this deeper level, and the purpose that you have, that you came here with. And then with all of that, connect to a higher wisdom and bring that back down into this reality. So it's beautiful, it's wonderful, it's so impactful and so needed right now, as we are all really collectively going through so much awakening, so much remembrance, right? We're all right now, the way everything has been set up, we're all basically little hamsters in a hamster wheel, just spinning, trying to make it work, trying to stay afloat in a society that's really kind of does not have our best interest, right? Having the systems that set up, not the society, but the systems we have set up are really just not working with us anymore, and with the nature of who we are. And this philosophy brings us back to the nature of who we are, and lets us go in a little bit deeper, right? A little bit more into that inner world, and seeing where we all struggle with stress, where we struggle with overwhelm, with our emotions getting out of hand, right? That reactivity, that really going into that survival mode, right? We're all going through these struggles right now. So many people dealing with anxieties, right? Feeling emotionally pressured. All of that is so relevant. Like, I've honestly don't know that many people, maybe like 3 people, right, that are just not struggling. But either way, our emotions change, all of these things change, and we go through ebbs and flows. And all of this knowledge, all of this, the spiritual practices, it's helping us. It's bringing us back to this knowledge, the codes that already live within us, that we know to be true. And as we learn, as we read, as we reconnect, we remember our nature, our natural rhythms, and how to be more really rooted in who we are, and becoming more resilient, you know? So it's really truly things that are going to elevate you right now, taking you from that stress, from that overwhelm, from that burnout, from really struggling and barely surviving, to so much elevation, so much tranquility and inner peace. And so really this organization that I am focusing on today, you can check them out at vedantacanada.org. That's VEDANTACANADA.org. And looking through their website, you can find really so much knowledge, so much information. There's courses, like online courses you can take. They have weekly classes that are focused on I think diving deeper into Bhagavad Gita, which is another wonderful, beautiful scripture that contains so much spiritual knowledge, right? Diving into that and looking at the knowledge from the Bhagavad Gita. There's courses you can take, there's retreats that you can go on really and get deeper into what Vedanta is. And so if this is really like resonating with you, take a look at their website, see what ways you can work with them, how they can help you, because truly they're here also doing the kind of work that I'm doing here on the podcast, teaching, educating, really bringing forth this wisdom and knowledge, the spiritual world, putting it all together, the physical and the spiritual, and really showing us that how we can live, creating really a heaven on earth where we bridge the two together, right? And we can live a spiritually led life by really embodying, being connected to the body, and at the same time bringing in higher wisdom, having the connection to the higher realms, right? And really this philosophy is also a lot focusing on how to truly understand yourself, why certain programs arise, why you think the way that you do, how your emotions can maybe get the best of you, right? So check them out, because it's definitely something where you can get a lot of material on and really start your transformation journey into these into this wisdom, right? The wisdom that already, if it's resonating, most likely you know this wisdom somewhere at a cellular level, and you were just waiting for this little push, this little nudge to show up and get you there. So really, I've already explained a little bit about what they are, what Vedanta is, and I've told you I really resonate with the work that they do, because it is so complementary to the work that is being done here on the Chrysalis Temple podcast. And honestly, my whole thing is always showcasing people who do this kind of work to show all of you that are listening that, there's so many of us that are feeling the cold, that are feeling so connected, right, to this spiritual knowledge, because we're not only in this physical vessel, right? We have a higher spiritual wisdom to connect to as well. So some things to reflect on, to think about as we are kind of closing down this episode is really think about what would your life look like, feel like, right? What would be different if you actually felt calmer, if you felt more emotionally stable, if you really felt truly confident from within, not just this, kind of outer alpha persona per se, but really truly confident, right? If you felt more clear, and if you felt more peaceful within, like that inner peace, what would that look like to you? How would that transform your reality? How would that transform your life? What would that version of you look like? What would that version of you do in your life? Maybe you would take some kind of an action. Maybe you would call somebody. Maybe you would take that opportunity. Or, on the other hand, decline to communicate with somebody, or, not go to that thing that you said you will, but something is just telling you that, you know what, don't go there. So reflect on that. What would that look like? What would your life look like? What would it feel like? And with that being said, I would really like to thank you for joining, for listening. And really, that pretty much wraps up this very special episode that is part of the Podcasthon. Sorry. So if you enjoyed it, feel free to visit podcasthon.org to discover many other charities and charities through, the many different voices and talents of all of the amazing podcasters that have come together to participate in this. So thank you guys once again for being here, and really until next episode, bye bye.